Another battle. It's over already. Yay. Alright, this has been occupied again by Numidia. He's so close. 975. He needs to hold it. Wait, what? It's part of a tree occupied by Numidia. But the war goal is still going up. It is still occupied. Numidia is in a different war. Numidia's in a different war. Oh, is he? He must be. Where the fuck is Numidia? Numidia? No, Numidia's not in a different war. What the fuck? You have this, so surely this should no longer be going up because it's being contested. But who cares? Fuck it. Oh, there's been a stack wipe here. Haha, get fucked, Mauritania. For 304 men! He lost 304 men to wipe out an army and capture Taicheus Naravarara. Nailed it. Fucking nailed that one. Emporion is invading the south of France. There is an army here, but who knows? Depends. Did he land on this? And if he did, he's going to get fucking smashed by this army of feudatories, because he's going to have the -3. Yeah, he's got a -3. He's going to get fucking destroyed. He's probably only going to be retreating maybe to Telemarchus, or maybe, yeah, Telemarchus. If you can get more men involved, this will die very swiftly. Macedon has tried, in what seems like in vain, to get down here, probably landing. Oh, and you couldn't get out of there, so all of that army is dead. I love this. Alright, so he's got 57. This is the 57 guys that we saw before. He got a 30 stack starting to march north. It looks like that might not be the best place to attack. Honestly, if I was him, I'd let him take this, because this is a much, much better place to defend. So much better. He'll get basically a -2 to try and take this fort, whereas here, he doesn't have a negative at all, so why try? There's level 14 there backing him up as well, which you really don't want to tangle with. But it has been... Macedon... Etruria could piece out... What? Oh no, wrong one. This is the one I'm looking for. War goal contested. Right, Macedon could force peace for Liburnia. That's it. Right, battle. It's not looking good. Triplex Axes is being countered. They've got more men and they've got a better dice roll. So I don't see Etruria winning this one, although they're killing more and they got more morale. So maybe I'm just flat out wrong on all counts. No, he ran away. Yeah, just losing too many men. He's lost half of his really strong army. His manpower is almost out. What he needs to do, what he absolutely has to do to have any chance here, take this back. Take this back. Wait I don't even know how long it's going to be, actually. But you take it back and you try and force him out. And then you focus on Macedon. Don't waste your armies here now. But my god, this is fucking huge. We've got 5 minutes left of this session. What can be done in these 5 minutes? Can anything be done? Oh, this has been depopulated to the point where it no longer exists. Fantastic. By who, though? Surely it can't have been this Hemeroscoperon. Yeah, Magna Graecia really shouldn't have had this, but again, it's feudatory. You can't really decide what to do with it. Oh no, the fort has fallen, Telemarchus. So the fleet is undocked and it is dead, basically. It's Papne's mercenaries. Hello.
Hello, Lambert. There's currently a pretty big war in Syria ongoing. If you're
in Syria? Oh my god, there's player wars all over the place. Fuck me.
Yeah, we just defeated Babylon in the big battle, so... But I mean, like, of course, there are other wars as well. Just one.
It's almost every player is in a player war.
Yeah.
Good lord. I see 2 countries. In total, 2 countries are not in a player war. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So Babylon, they're still at war with Persis, Madra Moria, and Alexandra Limen, but now they've been attacked by Antagonids, Egypt, and Kush. A grand alliance, ready to take down what is quite possibly the strongest player in the game right now. This is kind of huge.
I mean, then again, he has Pesuria and Parthia on his side. No, Iberia and Parthia and both are fighting, so
True.
we shall see. Well,
Very true. Good
back
luck.
down
You've got
then.
5 minutes.
Thank you. We make it count.
So, Iberia. Do you have any troops in the region? No. Where are your troops? Here. Drilling? Here. Running away? Here. Nope. Here? Oh. Sort of. I've got Antigonid Empire deciding that he doesn't want to fight over here anymore. He wants to fight over here instead. Good. I like that. It's good. You didn't need to be ganking up on fucking Etruscans. That's silly. You want to fight the Babylonians. They're the ones that have done you dirty. But this is an awful lot of troops. This is a huge force. So let's see. If we just scroll around here for Egypt forces, that is 168,000 men. If we have a look for Kush, we've got 122,000 men. The Antigonids are bringing in a solid... I guess it's fine. 57,000. But we've got a battle. We have got a battle. And it looks like he's not too interested in reinforcing. He spies an army to attack. And there's 62,000 men going to come in. And Kush is going to die here. Although I'd really recommend not going this way. Yeah, just turn around. There's 102,000. At least you see it. You know it's there. Now you can plan your offensive against the 102,000. And that offensive is probably going to be, let's everyone join up in one big army. They can join up in one big army, and we'll have basically a recreation of the Battle of Ipsus, but between Egypt and Babylon this time. The mountain fort has fallen to the Antagonids, so that is a great strategic asset. He already has the mountain fort here. He's got a hill fort. He could start trying to spill through. He'd need this fort, and that would allow him to go wherever he wants. There is no more forts after this. Although, shit, he's through. He's through already. Go here, then here, then here, then here, and he's in. But battle, big one. The 100,000 is deciding that he wants to reinforce this. Are they going to do defensive depth of generals? Babylon did not manage it. If you change this tactic, you are a fool. You did not. You fucking beautiful bastard. I love it. Fantastic. Very few casualties being done, which is odd considering there are hundreds of thousands of men in this battle, and the Babylonians are sent packing again. Jesus fuck. Another 60,000 going to come down, but it doesn't matter. They already won without you. Babylon is being slapped. Peace for Persis, I think. Is it? Yeah, peace for Persis. Did he lose much land? I guess he lost a chunk. Madras still being shafted. Maria, did he actually lose his capital? No, he didn't. The Shulians have been sent packing, and now they are dead. I'm glad I just caught the end of that. I'm very glad I caught the end of that. Let's go back up to Etruria, who are no longer at war with Magna Graecia. He fucking did it. The fucking mad lad actually did it. He held this, he white peaced, and now he can turn around and basically shove, what do the Etrurians use? Gladius? He can shove a Gladius down Macedon's throat. Fucking great. We are going to end the session at the end of this year, so I'm just going to quickly give everyone a tag on that. Just fucking phenomenal. Good lord, this has been compared to the start of this session where there was no war. There was desyncs and crashes and it was depressing. The end of this session has been some of the most thrilling Imperator Rome gameplay I have ever seen. It's been fucking awesome. I am thoroughly enjoying this. Babylon retreating behind his forts. He is spreading out, ready to, not starve or anything, which is not going to work because this place is losing a shit ton of food every single month. I mean, if you starve your own cities to the point where your fort will fall in moments. I mean, that's entirely your own fault. It's entirely your own fault. Will the Antagonids in this war reclaim Antigonia? Will Egypt push through and take Phoenicia? Will Kush help his allies do what they want? Maybe. Maybe. What is Magna Graecia feeling right now after being just thrown out of, the Italian land that he was trying to take? The questions. Pictonia is also still at war with Menapia, still at war with Hibernia. Hibernia has made a landing in fucking this place, Brittany, and there's a big battle. And Pictonia has more men here. They have an awful lot more men. Lugia is involved in this war as well. What filth is this? This is filth. James's only ally has to go to work after a 12-hour shift, and they decide that now that he has got friends that aren't here, that is when he wants to strike. And Celtiberia is... Celtiberia, what are you doing, buddy? Are you helping? Where's your men? You're bringing up... Okay, I understand why you're not helping. That's because you don't have any fucking boats, and you can't get through Emporion. I guess Emporion is not going to give you access. That's rude. That's very rude. Oh, man. Okay, where else are we looking? Iberia, you are also involved in this war. You do have troops. There is going to be a battle. There's going to be... just the one battle. I want to switch to Babylon perspective so we can watch this battle unfolding. We have level 10 versus a level 11 for Kush, but level 12 is going to come in for Egypt, a level 13 for the fucking Babylonians. Who is going to win out on tactics? No one. No one's going to win out. No tactics are going to change. It's shock action versus shock action. So casualties for both sides increased by 10%. Good job. Wait, no. Casualties for both increased by 10%, plus casualties increased by 10%. There's death in the air. This is a very close battle. The Iberians will make it more even, but the morale is already low. It's all going to come down to who runs out of troops first, and I don't know who's that's going to be, because that is the end of the fucking session. My god, what a fucking ending. What a fucking ending. Jesus. Okay, shit me. We've got battles here. I assume we've probably got battles up in the north. We've got battles everywhere. My god, what a fucking session. Right, I'm going to quickly hop out into the menu and then into single player.
Hello.
Hello. What a fucking end of session.
Yeah, I saw that coming for several months, but there was not much I could do with Grey Death not being here.
If I disappear, I'm off to throw up, so... If you
Hey, Vespasian, fucking well done, mate. Fucking well done.
Thank you.
That was phenomenal.
We're gonna
Really was.
beat their asses.
Did you force him out with a white piece?
Yes.
Oh my god. Fucking GG, man. Alright, I'm quickly going to say goodbye to my recording and then we'll do the scores and stuff. Alright, so thank you all very much for watching. I am so unbelievably thrilled with how the end of this session went. Just across the board, everything was just awesome. Yeah, they ganked the shit out of Etruria, but not only did he give them one mighty bloody nose, he's pushed them out of the war, and now he's fighting the Macedonians. It's just incredible. It is purely incredible. But I'm going to go and do the scores, and I have no idea who's going to come out on top. I have not a fucking clue. So I will see you for the scores and stuff. Yeah. Great stuff. Oh, hello and welcome to the post-game talk, where I talk about the game that we've just played. And man, what an end of the session. Like, that was kind of insane. That was incredibly insane. So I guess where to start would probably be India. So I spent a lot of the first half of the session really focusing on India, because honestly it was the only place where things were happening. We had Alupa at one point a negative 99 war score, and he managed to turn it around, and, well, Anuradhapura no longer exists. Boja went back to war with him, took a bunch of land from him again, but Alupa, coastline on both sides of India, took out a big chunk of them, did really well to come back from that. I was very, very impressed. Boja, we can talk about him a bit. Yeah, he took this down here. I don't see a future for Alupa, really. I think Boja will probably go and kill him, honestly, which would be very, very sad, because I have massive amounts of respect for the Alupa player, for this resistance, let's say. So I think at some point we're going to see Boja try and, link up his lands, natural order of things and all that. Maurya would probably want to be friends with Alupa, go for Borja together with him. I think that would probably be his best strategy. At the moment, Maurya is allied with Boja, though, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I just think he needs to remember that he used to own this, and maybe he wants to again. At the moment, though, Maurya is in a war defending Madra from Alexandria Eshat, Shul, Parthia, I think Babylon as well. Massive war going on here in Madra, and unfortunately Madra dropped midway through the war. He came back, but the AI had deleted his forts. So, yeah, there's a big push from Parthia and Shul and Alexandria Shat just pushing into Madra, and there's not much he can do about it. We got Persis. He basically got wrecked by Babylon and Parthia. It's really not looking so good for him. It's probably game over. I should mention Alexandra Limon as well. He exists. So moving on, we've got Babylon. So at the start of the game, he killed Makkah. Fed all of the land to Gera, who seems to be quite a strong little vassal of his. Taking up all the land that's got really trash amounts of citizens and too many tribes and all that kind of garbage. So yeah, having this be a vassal instead of owned directly is a good move by him, absolutely. Media is almost gone now. They've got 2 names, they've got 2 tiny spots of territory. They're not really an issue anymore. Parthia took over a bunch of media. He dropped during the first half of the session, but Babylon was very kind to him and gave him a bunch of territory anyway. I don't think I wasn't expecting him to, but at the same time, it's nice that he did that. We have Iberia, who took over a bunch of the bordering tribes between himself and Pisuria, and also fed his vassal Carquintes. So he's now got a fairly strong vassal, fairly strong position, decent-looking borders, and we'll see what goes on with that. At the moment, he is involved in a war with Babylon. He's on Babylon's side. But we're going to get to that in a moment. We've got other things to talk about first. Moving down south, Kush went into Yamnat, also took over a bunch of the little, I think they are republics down in the south. Didn't take them all, there's one left there, although that might be a vassal, I'm not sure. But yeah, Kush doing well, growing pretty much under the radar. He's a dark horse, so I'm going to put that out there. Egypt took out Lihian, and now he's involved in a war against Babylon. We'll get to that in a moment. Cyrenaica did not join the session. He had forgotten his power cord for his laptop, apparently, and his wife's laptop was not powerful enough to play the game, so yeah, he wasn't in, and his AI decided to attack Egypt, but that war ended surprisingly quickly, and no border changes, so nothing much to talk about there. Pisuria got involved in a war against Etruria and also, linked up his lands in this region. So his country's looking a lot better. It's nice borders. If you can get rid of Tyrus, maybe clean up some of this garbage, we'll see what happens. As I said, he's in a war against Etruria, but again, we'll get to that in a moment. We've got Thrace, who also dropped during the session. He got a bit of land from the wars that were going on pretty much from the start of the session against a lot of the little tribal guys here. Yeah, it took some land. It wasn't really too much to look at when it came to Thrace. He didn't do all that much. Then we got the Antigonid Empire. Again, you can see he's at war with Babylon right now. He had a civil war during his war against Etruria. He joined Macedon and Thrace and Pontus and Pisuria and Numidia and Mauritania and Magna Graecia and Emporion and Athens in attacking Etruria. And then he had a little bit of a civil war. So yeah, good job there. Macedon, also, we'll talk about him. He took a bunch of land up here, I think over here as well, and then he also attacked Etruria and took over, right at the end of the session, a bunch of territory here. You can see the occupations are still going on. That is because the war has ended, but it takes a day for it to really register. So that war is over. And again, we'll talk about the war in a moment. Numidia took a bit of land in Iberia. The borders here are just absolute filth. And I really do fear for Celtiberia's existence. I guess he's not feeling so good right now. He's got Emporion to the north, Magna Graecia to his east, Numidia to his south, and Mauritania to his west. That's not a good situation to be in, considering they're either, a vassal of Magna Graecia or an ally of Magna Graecia. Not a good situation to be in. I don't really rate his chances. Arvernia. Oh man, Arvernia. So the big issue with him is he was not in for the start of the session. Because he was working. He had apparently a 12-hour shift at work. So we got him in during the during the rehost. And then very soon after that, he had to leave, apparently, to go to work. So that really sucks for me. He did not sound like he was, fresh and ready after a 12-hour shift, and now he has to go out again. So, sucks to be Greateth. Pictonia didn't do so much, but now he is being attacked by Menapia, Lugia, and Hibernia. Which really sucks, because Hibernia wouldn't be this big if it wasn't for Pictonia. But I guess James is not the most well-versed when it comes to multiplayer, or I guess Jake. So he definitely put his neck on the line to help Hibernia, and it's really biting him now. I guess maybe this is a learning experience for him. Don't trust Jake, or don't help people for no reason when you don't get anything out of it. I mean, this here is not getting something out of it when Hibernia went from, he had Ireland and maybe a tiny smudge here to owning all this. That's not a fair trade. Menapia attacked Pictonia, and they're doing quite well so far, especially when we got Lugia and Hibernia's help. But I think there's going to be a possible turnaround in the fortunes come next session, as Arvernia, who was involved in the Etrurian War, is now not involved in this war, and he can march his troops back, and I think he's got about 85,000 that can get involved in this conflict. So that is going to be a saving grace for Pictonia. He's got about 85,000 himself. 85,000 from Arvernia could definitely turn the tide. And then Lugia also taking over the whole of Denmark. Boja took over all of Sweden, and that's pretty much it for the north. So yeah, let's talk about the big wars. And I think we were going to start with... Well, we've talked about Pictonia, we've kind of talked about the Madra, so let's talk about this gank against Etruria. He was at war with players Emporion, Mauritania, Numidia, Magna Graecia, Macedon, Thrace, Antigonid Empire, and Pontus, and Pisuria. If Athens hadn't dropped out during the session, that would have been 10 nations. And he did phenomenally well. Like, I can't understate how impressed I am with his performance here. He had 3 30k stacks of pure heavy infantry, and he held the south from what I think was around about 200,000 enemies. He picked his fights incredibly well. He utilized depth of generals, which you all know that I fucking love. He utilized that incredibly well, and despite having Magna Graecia being on tech parity and with a better general, he managed to push them out and kept control of the Wargol, which was these 3 lonely territories, long enough to force a white peace out of Magna Graecia. Right towards the end of the session, he forced the white peace out of Magna Graecia. And it can't be denied, that is a phenomenal feat. Of course, he does have an extraordinary amount of feudatories and vassals, which, I mean, it certainly helps. It absolutely helps. The vassal swarm probably amounted to 85, 100,000. And mostly those vassals were fighting in the north against Macedon, who also attacked. There were a lot of mountain fights in Latabicorum, just wave after wave of Macedonian, Pontic, Thracian troops just pouring into this area. And you don't forget a lot of Macedonian feudatories as well, just pouring in and just being sent packing wave after wave by the troops, by these feudatories. So fantastic job from them. As you can see, though, the Macedonians did push in as far as Portis Liquitanae, but right at the end of the session, of course, he peaced out. He'd taken out Magna Graecia from the war. That took a lot of the power away from Macedon, and for Macedon to really push for anything meaningful was going to be quite a stretch, as, you know, these troops in the north were fairly, not comfortably, but fairly close to being able to hold Macedon back. And with the addition of 90,000 in the south coming north to help, it was a wise choice to peace out and have what is probably the better border here. What he had before was sort of unholdable, especially when you don't have a navy. But this is much more convenient. One hill fort here that you defend to the death would certainly be a welcome addition to your defense. So the other nations that got involved, Thrace, we saw him quite a bit in the south. At some point, though, he decided that this was going nowhere. I mean, he got absolutely spanked on multiple occasions by the Etrurian army and retreated, and then he went and helped out Antagonids with his civil war. Magna Graecia was here mostly with his own feudatory swarm, just nowhere near as big a feudatory swarm. And then Numidia also really pushing hard in Etruria in the south here. The problem being, Numidia's troops, while they are pure elephant retinues, you don't get to decide what kind of general you have when you are a migratory tribe or a settled tribe or whatever. So he often had stacks of like 32 or 36 elephants, which are really damn good troops, led by a level 2 general, so decidedly less good. And there's also the problem that the tech disadvantage that they had was overwhelming. I mean, Etruria's on, I think, Tech 7, Numidia's on Tech 1. That's a big boost in morale, especially when you think of all the inventions that you can take to boost your own troops. Like, Etruria would have had his heavy infantry offense inventions and discipline inventions and all that kind of good shit. So he had a much, much better army, despite the fact that elephants technically beat them. But if you add on to that, elephants take 10% more morale damage. So the morale is trash in comparison, and then you add on taking more morale damage, the elephants just melted. There was really no hope for them. They went over, they crossed on the boats, they got crushed, they came back, they recuperated, they went back, they got crushed. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Mauritania, though, I didn't see him involved so much. I'm not saying he wasn't. I don't know if he was or not. I personally did not see him getting so much involved. If he was, then apologies, but yeah, I didn't see it. So what comes next then for Etruria? I mean, he knows that his former allies have completely abandoned him, and they have sided with his enemies that he personally didn't do much against. I mean, these guys, Magna Graecia and Macedon, they were the enemies. Etruria sort of stood on the sidelines in that war, and now the enemies have ganged up against the one that didn't really do much. You can understand it maybe from the Magnigration perspective, but not really the Macedonian. But yeah, I don't know what really to expect from Etruria in the future. He's going to have to do some Diplo, make some kind of deal. What that deal is, I really couldn't say. I really could not say. He survived the first war, but he was tanked on his manpower. His feudatories still have an obnoxious amount of money, like between 1,500 and 4,000 each. And he's got a lot of them, as you can tell. If they were to really murk up and push, he would have the strongest force in the game, by far. But the AI, they can, but they rarely do. I mean, it's always annoying fighting a group of small nations because they buy a lot of mercs. But when you need them to, they could quite easily and quite comfortably hold a force of 5 mercs each. They won't. They never will. But they could. And I think he needs them to be able to fight Macedon, Thrace, Antagonids, Pontus, Numidia, Magna Graecia, Mauritania, Emporion, like Pisuria as well. It's just crazy. The forces arrayed against him. I think what he'd need to do is align himself with the Gauls and maybe try and help Celtiberia push Emporion, Mauritania, Numidia, Magna Graecia out, so he'd have a strong Iberian ally, strong Gallic allies, that kind of thing. But we'll have to wait and see what he's going to be able to pull off. The truce is up soon with Magna Graecia. Etruria is tanked on manpower, so it's all up in the air. I don't know what he's going to be able to do. So yeah, that's that war. That's that war out of the way. Apart from the fact that it isn't, because as soon as the war ended, Pisuria decided to raise one last city just for good old time's sake, and now they're at war again. It's a show superiority war, but I assume they're going to probably wipe peace out of that one. Right, on to the next big war. While all this was going on, Egypt declared war upon Babylon, and so far, so good. It is going remarkably well for them. They've pushed up, they've taken fort after fort, and now they're fighting in Resapa, and there is a good number of them fighting. 157,000 versus 142,000, with reinforcements coming in from all angles. Kirkesian, a desert fort, the path towards the capital is soon to fall, and really what does Babylon have that can hold off this? He's got his ally Iberia involved in the war. That's good for him. But after that, I mean, he's at war with Egypt, with Kush, with the Antagonids, and he could get partitioned. It would not surprise me to see a very healthy chunk of this just get ripped away from him. His Mediterranean coast, I don't think, will be his at the end of this war. I assume the Antagonids are going to want Syria. Egypt might want the South Phoenicia, perhaps. I don't see Babylon winning this, but I may be wrong, and we may see him pull something crazy out of the bag. The forces are very much in the favor of Egypt and the Antagonids and Kush, but Babylon is a damn good player, and we could see him pull something mental out. We did at the very start of the game when he was ganked by Media and co, and we might see it again. He's done very well for himself, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But anyway, that is enough chattering about all of the business. Let's have a look at the case of the scores. So, in first place, we have Boja. They did fantastically well. They came first place in both pops, growth, and growth percentage by a comfortable margin. Second place, we have Macedon. Their growth got them to second place with, I think it was 12 points in growth and 6 points in growth percentage. We have Lugia getting 12 points for growth percentage. Then we've got Celtiberia getting 8 points for, I think, total pop growth. or it might be growth percentage. I don't know. But anyway, he got 12 points. 8 points to both. 8 points to Celtiberia and Egypt. Then we've got 6 points for Mauria. Push this all the way over there as we see Mauria. And finally, 4 points for both Ancona and Thrace. Thrace is here, and then to see Ancona, we just got to zoom in, just a smudge more. There he is. There's Ancona. We can fit him in on the highest zoom level. Lovely. So there's the issue of the points. Been a good session. Let's actually sort it by total points now. We'll see who is in first, who is in worst. So in first place at the moment we have Boja, currently sitting in the lead with 69 points. Googity goo. Light in Pisuria in second place with 42. Iggy in third place with Mauria. Starchitec in fourth place with Celtiberia. Then in fifth place is Thrace Turbocrench. So that is your lot. I would love to know what you guys thought of the session. Obviously, I think the start before we had the big rehost was honestly a little bit boring and a little bit kind of depressing, the amount of desyncs and failed hot joins. When Imperator doesn't work, it is quite demoralizing. But as was the case here, when it works, after the rehost, when it works, it is utterly thrilling and can be some of the best multiplayer action in any Paradox game. Fucking stand by that. That's just a reality. As soon as we had that rehost and everyone was in and everyone was fighting, I mean, we had all but like 2 players in a player war, and that to me is fucking incredible. And it wasn't just one big gank either, it was multiple wars across the world. Yeah, when Imperator works, it's phenomenal. But yeah, that's your lot. Thank you all very much for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below, so please do leave them there. I do read them, though it is getting harder and harder to respond to them all, just because, you know, as my channel grows, there's more comments to respond to. But please do leave the comments there anyway. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this session and this episode. Stick around for more Imperator content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.